Hi guys, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make some really cute little accessories that match your dog. So today we're going to make a headband and over the collar dog bandana. So I have this piece of fabric that's extra. It does have this stretchy part at the top, so the first thing I'm going to do is just to cut that stretchy off. And then of course I'm going to keep this for something else. I'm going to go ahead and cut both of the garment's fabric at the same time. So I'm measuring my headband to make sure it's going to fit around my head, and then I'm cutting the width so that's the same all the way around. And this is double the size of our finished headband, so just making sure that this size folded in half is going to be just perfect for our finished headband size. Moving on to our bandana, I'm going to use the bandana I already have as a pattern, so drawing about a 1/4 inch around that shape, plus about an inch extra for the top so that we can slide the bandana over the collar. And this piece is going to be the front of the bandana. And I fold that to make sure it's the exact same size. And then we need our second square. We need 2 identical bandana shapes. And we're going to lay these right facing each other. So both of the pattern sides facing each other. And we're going to pin our cut shape onto our rectangle of plain fabric. And then we'll cut out the second rectangle to be identical to the first. And now it's ready to sew. So let's move over to our sewing machine. And we're going to take our headband, fold it in half so that the inside is facing out, and pin the cut ends together. And this is going to be the line that we sew on. I had to change my camera angle here, but now we're just going to sew along the line we just pinned. I'm using a regular straight stitch because this stitch is going to be inside of our garment. And you'll see I remove my pins as I'm sewing to make sure we have a perfectly straight line. Now let's flip this right side out. And our final step is to sew the ends together, and we fold the ends into one another if we want that little knot in the front of the headband. You can measure one more time to make sure it's the right size, otherwise let's move on to our dog bandana. Starting with the same step of just sewing with a straight stitch around the edge that we've pinned. And we're going to leave about 1 inch open so that we can flip this bandana right side out. Once we've locked our stitch in, we're going to use that hole to flip the bandana right side out and sew it once again around the edge. And of course, you always need your little helper. So for my second stitch around the edge of the garment, I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. This is just because I think it looks nice and adds a little edge detail. So we start with that open section and we pin those 2 sides together and sew with our zigzag stitch, making sure both sides get sewn together. Take your time with this step and make sure that you're just feeding the material gently through the machine so we're not getting any stretched lettuce edges, especially if you have stretchy fabric. And pay extra close attention to your corners, which can sometimes be tricky when you're doing a zigzag stitch. Once we've gone all the way around and locked our stitch, we're just going to flatten out the piece. And finally, we're going to fold over that top inch that we added to our fabric to make the over collar feature. You can pin that if you'd like in a straight line, and then just sew along the seam that you already have with a straight stitch. Trim off all your threads, make sure everything looks perfect, and there you have it. Have fun matching your furry friend, and make sure to share with me what you've created. Subscribe for more upcycles, and follow along at IamEmmy.com.